Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo?
Have you had quiet guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Hey, what, is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio, and welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I have seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreadful sight twice seen of us. Therefore I have entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of the night, that if again this apparition come, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Tush, tush, 'twill not appear.
Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story what we have 2 nights seen.
Well, sit we down and let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole had made his course illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bells beating one.
Peace, break thee off, the bird comes again.
In the same figure, like the king that's dead.
Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio.
Looks it not like the king? Mark it, Horatio.
Most like. It harrows me with fear and wonder.
It would be spoke to.
Question it, Horatio.
What art thou that usurpest this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form in which the majesty of buried Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Stay, speak, speak, I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone, and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on it?
Before my God, I might not this believe without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the king?
As thou art to thyself. Such was the very armor he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated.
Thus twice before, and jump at this dead hour, with martial stock hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work I know not. But in the gross and scope of my opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Good, now sit down, and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land? Who is that can tell me?
That can I. At least, the whisper goes thus. Our last king, whose image even now but appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, thereto pricked on by a most emulate pride, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras, who by a sealed compact well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those his lands which he stood seized of to the conqueror. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there sharked up a list of lawless resolutes for food and diet, to some enterprise that hath a stomach in it, which is no other, as it doth well appear unto our state, but to recover of us, by strong hand and terms compulsatory, those foresaid lands so by his father lost. This, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of this post-haste and roamage in the land.
I think it be no other, but even so.
But soft, behold, lo where it comes again. I'll cross it, though it blast me. Stay, illusion. If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done that may to thee do ease and grace to me, speak to me. If thou art privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, speak of it. Stay and speak. Stop it, Marcellus.
What, shall I strike it with my partisan?
Do, if it will not stand.
'Tis here.
'Tis here.
'Tis gone.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons.
It faded on the crowing of the cock.
Break we up our watch, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him. Do you consent we shall acquaint him with it, as needful in our loves fitting our duty?
Let's do it, I pray. And I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently.
Though yet of Hamlet, our dear brother's death, the memory be green, and that it is us befitted to bear our hearts in grief and our whole kingdom to be contracted in one brow of woe. Yet so far hath discretion fought with nature that we with wisest sorrow think on him, together with remembrance of ourselves. Therefore our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress to this warlike state, have we, as 'twere with a defeated joy, with an auspicious and a dropping eye, with mirth in funeral, and dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we herein barred your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along. For all, our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking of our late dear brother's death, our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with the dream of his advantage, he hath not failed to pester us with message, importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father, with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much for him. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us of some suit. What is't, Laertes? The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have, Laertes?
My dread lord, your leave and favor to return to France, from whence though willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation, yet now I must confess, that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and bow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
He hath, my lord, wrung from me my slow leave by laborsome petition, and at last upon his will I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes, time be thine, and thy best graces spend it all thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet, and my son, how is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Not so, my lord, I'm too much in the sun.
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Ay, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam? Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspirations of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river of the eye, nor the dejected havior of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have within that which passeth show. These but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know, your father lost a father, That father lost his, and the survivor, bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow. But to persevere in obstinate condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son, do I impart toward you. For your intent, on going back to school in Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire, and we beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee, stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall in my best obey you, madam.
'Tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come. This gentle and unforced accord of Hamlet sits smiling to my heart, in grace whereof no jocund health that Denmark drinks today, but the great Kannon to the clouds shall tell, and the king rouse the heavens, all brew it again, re-speaking earthly thunder. Come away.
That this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh, God! God! How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it! Ah, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. It should come to this. But 2 months dead. Nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. How heaven and earth must I remember? Why, she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on, and yet, within a month, let me not think on it. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month, or ere those shoes were old with which she followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, all tears. Why, she, even she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her galled eyes, she married. Oh, wicked speed to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good. But break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I am glad to see you well. I'm glad to see you well, Horatio, or I do forget myself.
Oh, the same, my lord, and your poor servant ever.
Oh, sir, my good friend. I'll change that name with you. And what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus!
My good lord.
I am very glad to see you. Good even, sir. But what in faith make you from Wittenberg?
A truant disposition, my lord.
Oh, I would not hear your enemies say so. Nor shall you do mine ear that violence to make a truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant. But what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
Oh, I pray thee, do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
Oh, thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, or ever I had seen that day, Horatio. My father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
I saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man. Take him for all in all. I shall not look upon his like again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw? Who?
My lord, the king, your father.
The king, my father?
Season your admiration for a while, with an attent ear, till I may deliver upon the witness of these gentlemen this marvel to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together had these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, on their watch in the dead vast and middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at point exactly, cape-a-pay, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slowly and stately by them. Thrice he walked by their oppressed and fear-surprised eyes within his truncheon's length, whilst they, distilled almost to jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me, in dreadful secrecy, in part they did. And I with them the 3rd night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good, the apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more like.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform which we watch.
Well, did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once methought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion, like as it would speak. But even the morning cock crew loud, and at the sound it shrunk in haste away and vanished from our sight.
'Tis very strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, 'tis true. And we did think it writ down in our duty to let you know of it.
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight?
We do, my lord.
Armed, say you?
Armed, my lord.
What, looked he frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very pale.
And fixed his eyes upon you?
Most constantly.
I would I had been there.
It would have much amazed you.
Oh, very like. Stayed it long?
While one with moderate haste might tell 100.
Longer.
Not when I saw it.
His beard was grizzled, no?
It was, as I'd seen it in life, a sable silvered.
I will watch tonight. Perchance we'll walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my father's person, I'll speak to it. Though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be tenable in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding, but no tongue. I will requite your love. So, fare you well. Upon the platform, twixt 11 and 12, I'll visit you.
Our duty to
Our
your
duty
honor.
to your honor.
Your loves as mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth o'erwhelm them, to men's eyes.
My necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And sister, as the winds give benefit and convoy is assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Well, do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, and the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of primy nature. Forward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and suppliance of a minute, no more.
But so.
Think it no more. Perhaps he loves you now. And now no soil nor coddle doth besmirch the virtue of his will, but you must fear his greatness weighed. His will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the safety and health of this whole state. And therefore must his choice be circumscribed unto the voice and yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in his particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes with all. Then weigh what loss your honor may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister, and keep you in the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desire. Be wary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart, but good, my brother, do not as some ungracious pastors do show me the steep and thorny ways to heaven, while, like a puffed and reckless libertine himself, the primrose path of dalliance tread, and recks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not. Oh, I stay too long. Here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second leave.
Yet here, Laertes, aboard, aboard for shame. The wind sits on the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing with thee. And these few precepts in thy memory, see thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but refuse thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy. Rich, not gaudy. For the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France of the best rank and station are the most select and generous chief in that. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invites you. Go, your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is't, Ophelia, he hath said to you?
So please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Marry, well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you, and you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, and so 'tis put on me, and that in way of caution I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it behooves my daughter and your honor. Oh, what is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affection? Pooh! You speak like a green girl, unsifted in such perilous circumstance. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Mary, I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby that you obtain these tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tend to yourself more dearly, or not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, running it thus, you'll tender me a fool.
My lord, he hath importuned me with love in honorable fashion.
Aye, fashion you may call it. Go to.
And hath given countenance to his speech, my lord, with almost all the holy vows of heaven.
Aye, springes to catch woodcocks. I do know when the blood burns, how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. These blazes, daughter, giving more light than heat, extinct in both. Even in their promise, as it is a making, you must not take for fire. From this time be somewhat scanter of your maiden presence. Set your entreatments at a higher rate than a command to parley. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with larger tether may he walk than may be given. In few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows. They are brokers, not of the dye which their investments show, but more implorators of unholy suits, breathing like sanctified and pious bawds, the better to beguile. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you slander any moment leisure as to give words or to talk with Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I charge you. Come your ways.
I shall obey, my lord.
The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it is struck.
Indeed? I heard it not. Then it draws near the season wherein the spirit held his wont to walk. Look, my lord, it comes.
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. What may this mean? That thou, dread corse, again in complete steel, revisitest thus the glimpses of the moon. Say, why is this? Wherefore? What should we do?
It beckons you go away with it, as if some impartment did desire to you alone.
Look with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it.
No, by no means.
I will speak. It will not speak, then I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life as a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing as immortal as itself? It waves me forth again. I'll follow it.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord? Or to the dreadful summit of the cliff that beetles o'er his base into the sea, and there assume some other horrible form, which might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness? Think of it!
It waves me still. Go on. I'll follow thee.
You shall not go, my lord.
Be ruled, you shall
My
not go!
fate cries out, unhand me, gentlemen. By heaven, I'll make a ghost of him that lets me. Go on. I'll follow thee. Where wilt thou lead me? Speak, I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come when I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But this eternal blazon must not be. To ears of flesh and blood, list, list, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love.
Oh God!
Revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder, most foul as in the best it is. But this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
'Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me, so the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle!
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterate beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts. Oh, wicked wit and gifts that have the power so to seduce. One to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there for me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved, though lewdness courted in a shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebanon in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor doth posset and curd, like eager droppings into milk, the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine. Thus was I sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouselled, disappointed, unannealed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head.
Oh, horrible, horrible, horrible.
If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, take not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to those thorns that in her bosom lodge, to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his uneffectual fire. Adieu, adieu, Hamlet, remember me.
Oh, oh, you host of heaven! Oh, earth! What else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie! Hold my heart. And you, my sinews, grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee! I, a poor ghost. Well, memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee! Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past, that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandment alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven! O most pernicious woman! O villain! Villain! Smiling, damned villain! My tables. Meet it is I set it down, that one may smile and smile and smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It is adieu, adieu, remember me. I have sworn it.
My lord! My lord!
Lord Hamlet,
So be it.
how is my noble lord?
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Good, my lord, tell it.
No. You'll reveal it. I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You, as your business and desire shall point you, and for my own poor part, I'll go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words, my lord.
I'm sorry they offend you. Heartily. Yes, Faith, heartily.
There's no offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense, too. And now, good friends, as you are friends, scholars, and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is, my lord? We will.
Never make known what you have seen tonight.
My lord, we will
My
not.
lord, we will not.
Nay, but swear it!
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to speak of this that you have seen. Swear by my sword.
Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
And therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. But come. Here, as before, never, so help you mercy, how strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think meet to put an antic disposition on, that you, at such times seeing me, never shall with arms encumbered thus, or this head shake, or by pronouncing of some doubtful phrase as, well, we know, or we could and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be and if they might, or some ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me, this not to do. So grace and mercy at your most need help you swear.
We swear.
Swear.
So, gentlemen, let us go in together. And still your fingers on your lips, I pray. The time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite that ere I was born to set it right. Nay, come, let's go together.
What's the matter?
My lord, I have been so affrighted.
With what, in the name of God?
My lord, I was sewing in my closet, and Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, and his stockings fouled, ungartered, and down dived to his ankles, pale as his shirt, and his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in purport, as if he had been loosed from hells, to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist and held me hard, then goes he to the length of his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls to such a perusal of my face, as if he were to draw it. Long stayed he so. At last, a little shaking of my arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shatter all his bulk, and end him being. That done, he lets me go. And with his head over his shoulder turned, he seems to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors he went without their helps, and to the last bended their light on me.
Come, go with me. I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings as oft as any passion under heaven that doth afflict our natures. I am sorry. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my good lord, but as you did command, I did repel his fetters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to wreck thee. But beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it is as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, we go to the king. This must be known, which being kept close might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, that we much did long to see you, the need we have to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something you have heard of Hamlet's transformation, so call it, sith nor the exterior nor the inward man resembles that it was. What it should be, more than his father's death, that hath put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, that being of so young days brought up with him, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time. So by your companies to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that, opened, lies within our remedy.
Good gentleman, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am to men there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bent, to lay our service freely at your feet, to be commanded.
Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz. And I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son.
Heavens, make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
I assure my good liege, I hold my duty as I hold my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of policy so sure as it hath used to do, that I have found the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear. He tells me, my dear Gertrude, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our hasty marriage.
My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness the limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad, I call it, for to define true madness, what is but to be nothing else but mad. But let that go.
More matter with less art?
Madam, I swear, I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity. And pity 'tis true. A foolish figure, but farewell it. For I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him. Then, and now, remains that we find out the cause of this effect. Or rather say the cause of this defect. For this effect, effective comes by cause. Thus it remains, and the remainder thus. Perpend. Oh, I have a daughter, while she is mine, who in her duty and obedience, Mark, hath given me this. Now gather and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. Well, that's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase, but you shall hear it thus. In her excellent white bosom, these, etc., etc.
From Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Here. Doubt thou the stars are fire? Doubt that the sun doth move? Doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Oh dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers. I have not art to reckon my groans, but that I love thee best. Oh most best, believe it, adieu. Thine evermore most dear lady, whilst this machine is to him, Hamlet. This in obedience hath my daughter shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out by time and means and place, all given to mine ear.
But how hath she received his love?
Well, what do you think of me?
As a man faithful and honorable.
I would fain prove so, but what might you think? When I had seen this hot love on the wing as I perceived it, I must tell you that before my daughter told me, what might you, or my dear majesty, your queen here, think? If I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking, mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight, what might you think? No, I went round to work. And my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince, out of thy star. This must not be. And then I precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, admit no messengers, receive no tokens. Which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and he, repulsed, a short tale to make, fell into a sadness, then into a fast, thence to a watch, thence into a weakness, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves, and all we mourn for.
Do you think 'tis this?
May be, very likely.
Hath there been such a time, I feign to know that I have positively said 'tis so, when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Oh, take this from this if it be otherwise.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then. Mark the encounter, if he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon, let me be no assistant for estate, but keep a farm and carters.
We will try it.
But look, where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away, I do beseech you, both away. I'll board him presently. Oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God of mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent well, you are a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir. To be honest, as this world goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
Or if the sun breeds maggots in a dead dog, being the son a god-kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Oh, let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone, far gone. And truly, in my youth, I suffered much extremity for love very near this. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words, words, words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between who?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Oh, slanders, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hams, which, although, sir, I most powerfully and potently believe, yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down, for yourself, sir, should be old as I am, if like a crab you could go backward.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in't. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
Indeed, that is out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive the means of a meeting between him and my daughter. My honorable lord, I will most humbly take my leave of you.
You cannot take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal, except my life.
Oh, my lord.
Except my life.
My lord,
Except my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends. How dost thou, Guildenstern? Rosencrantz, good lads. How do ye both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy in that we are not over happy.
Oh.
On Fortune's cap, we are not the very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
Oh, then you live about her waist, or in the middle of her favors.
Faith, her privates we.
In the secret parts of Fortune. Oh, most true, she is a strumpet. What's the news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Oh, well, then is doomsday near. But your news is not true. Let me question you more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hand of Fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Oh, yeah, Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Why, then 'tis none to you. For there is nothing either good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison. But, in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord, no other occasion.
Were you not sent for? Is it your own inclining? Is it a free visitation? Come, deal justly with me. Come, come. Nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for. And there's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
Oh, that you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
My lord, we were sent for.
I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery and your secrecy to the king and queen moult no feather. I have of late, but whereof I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and Indeed, it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire, why, it appears to me no other thing than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty. In form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me. No, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive from you. We coated them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
Oh! He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute of me. The lover shall not sigh gratis. The clowns shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled of this air, and the ladies shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for it. What players are they?
Even those you are wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city.
There are the players.
Gentlemen, you are welcome in Elsinore. Your hands, come then, you are welcome. But my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
Well be with you, gentlemen.
Oh, hark you, Guildenstern, and you too, at each ear a hearer. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling clothes.
Happily, he's the second time come to them, for they say an old man is twice a child.
I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players, mark it.
The best actors in the world, either for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral, pastoral comical, historical pastoral, tragical historical, tragical comical historical pastoral, scene indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, nor Plautus too light. For the law of writ and the liberty, these are the only band.
You are welcome, masters. Welcome all. I am glad to see thee well. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality. Come, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted, or if it was, not above once. For the play, I remember, pleased not the million. 'Twas caviar to the general. But it was, as I received it, an excellent play. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas's tale to Dido, and thereabout of it especially, where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms, when he lay couched in the ominous horse, old grandsire Priam speaks. So, proceed you.
Anon he finds him, striking too short at Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to his command. Unequal matched, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, in rage strikes wide, but with the width and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then, senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top, stoops to his base, and with a hideous crash, takes prisoner Pyrrhus's ear. For lo, his sword, which which was declining on the milky head of Reverend Priam, seemed to stick in the air. So as a painted tyrant Pyrrhus stood, and like a neutral to his will and matter, did nothing. But as we often see against some storm, a silence in the heavens. The rack stands still, the bold wind speechless, and the orb below as hush as death. Anon, the dreadful thunder doth rend the region. So, after Pyrrhus' pause, aroused vengeance sets him new a work. And never did the Cyclops' hammer fall on Mars' armor forged for proof etern with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam. Out, out, thou strumpet fortune! All you gods in general synod take away her power. Break all the spokes and fellies from her wheels, and bowl the round nave down the hill of heavens as low as to the fiends.
This is too long.
It shall to the barbers with your bid. Prithee, say on. He's for a jig or a tale of bawdry, or he sleeps. Say on. Come to Hecuba.
Oh, but who had seen the Moblid Queen?
The Moblid Queen?
That's good. Moblid Queen is good.
Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bison rune, a clout upon the head where late the diadem stood, and for a robe, about her lank and all o'er-teemed loins a blanket, in alarm of fear caught up. Who had seen this? With tongue in venom steeped, gainst fortune's state with treason half pronounced. But if the gods themselves did see her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven, and passion in the gods.
Look, whether he has not turned his color and his tears in his eyes. Pray you, no more.
Oh, 'tis well. I'll have thee speak out the rest soon. Good, my lord. Will you see the players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used.
Come, sirs.
Follow him, friends. We'll hear a play tomorrow. Dost thou hear me, old friend? Can you play The Murder of Gonzago?
Aye, my lord.
We'll have it tomorrow night. You could, for a need, study a speech of some 12 or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert in it, could you not?
Aye, my lord.
Very well. Follow that, lord, and look ye mock him not. My good friends, I'll leave you tonight. You are welcome to Elsinore.
Good, my lord.
Aye, so, God be with ye. Now I am alone. What a rogue, peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, but in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit, that from her working all his visage waned, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suiting with forms to his conceit, and all for nothing, for Hecuba. What's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her? What would he do had he the motive and the cue for passion that I have? He would drown the stage with tears and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty and appall the free, confound the ignorant and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull and muddy-mettled rascal, peak like John a dreams, unpregnant of my cause, and can say nothing. No, not for a king upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me a villain, breaks my pate across, plucks off my beard and blows it in my face, tweaks me by the nose, gives me the lie in the throat as deep as to the lungs? Who does this to me? Ah! Swoons. I should take it. For it cannot be but I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. Or, ere this, I should have fatted all the region kites with this slave's awful, bloody-body villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain. Oh, vengeance! What an ass am I. Oh, this is most brave, that I, the son of a dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must, like a whore, unpack my heart with words and fall a cursing, like a very drab, scullion, vile foe. About my brain. I have heard that guilty creatures sitting in a play have by the very cunning of the scene been so struck to the soul that present they have proclaimed their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that I have seen may be the devil. And the devil hath power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my weakness and my melancholy, as he is very potent with such spirits, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
And can you by no drift of circumstances get from him why he puts on this confusion, grating so harshly all his days of quiet with turbulent and dangerous lunacy?
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause he will by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we would bring him on to some confession of his true state.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Did you essay him to any pastime?
Madam, it so fell out that certain players we o'erwrought on the way. Of these we told him, and there did seem in him a kind of joy to hear it. They are about the court, and as I think, they have already ordered that this night to play before him.
'Tis most true, and he beseeched me to entreat your majesties to hear and see the matter.
Oh, with all my heart, and it doth much content me to hear him so inclined. Good gentlemen, give him a further edge, and drive his purpose to these delights.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, leave us too, for we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he, as 'twere by accident, may here affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that, seeing unseen, we may of their encounter frankly judge, and gather by him, as he is behaved, if it be the affliction of his love or no, that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious, so please you, we will bestow ourselves. Read this book. That show of such exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis too much proved that when devotion's visage and pious action, we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
'Tis too true. How smart a lash that speech doth give my conscience.
I hear him coming. Let's withdraw, my lord.
That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die, to sleep no more. And by a sleep to say, we end the heartache and the 1,000 natural shocks that flesh is heir to. 'Tis a consummation devoutly to be wished. To die, to sleep, to sleep, perchance to dream. There's the rub. For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There's the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pangs of despised love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns that patient merit of the unworthy takes? And he himself might his quietus make with a bare bodkin. Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus, the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought. To enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft you now, the fair Ophelia. Nymph, in thy orisons be all my sins remembered.
Good, my lord. How does your honor this many a day?
I humbly thank you. Well. My
lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have long longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No. Not I. I never gave you aught.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of so sweet breath composed as made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again. For to the noble mind, rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Ha! Ha! Are you honest?
My lord?
Are you fair?
What means your lordship?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better commerce than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty will sooner transform from what it is to a bawd than the force of honesty can translate beauty into his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
You should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we shall relish of it. I loved you not.
I was the more deceived.
Get thee to a nunnery. Why wouldst thou be a breeder of sinners? I myself am indifferent honest, but yet I could accuse me of such things that it were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my beck than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do crawling between heaven and earth? We are errant knaves all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house. Farewell.
Oh, sweet heavens!
Or if thou dost marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou chaste as ice, as pure as snow, thou shalt not escape calumny. Get thee to a nunnery, go, farewell. Or, if thou wilt needs marry a fool, for wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery, go, and quickly to farewell.
Heavenly powers, restore him!
I have heard of your paintings, too. Well enough. God has given you one face, and make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp, and you nickname God's creatures and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to, I'll no more on it. It has made me mad. I say we will have no more marriages. Those that are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery, go.
What noble mind is here o'erthrown? The courtier, soldier, scholar's eye, tongue, sword, the expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form, the observed of all observers, quite down, and I, of ladies most dejected and wretched that sucked the honey of his music vows, now see that noble and most sovereign reasons like sweet bells jangled out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and features of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Woe is me to have seen what I have seen, see what I see.
Love? His affections do not that way tend. Nor what he spake, though it lacked form a little, was not like madness. There's something in his soul, o'er which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do not doubt that hatch in the disclose will be some danger, which for to prevent, I have in quick determination thus set it down. He shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute, haply the seas and countries different with variable objects shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him thus from fashion of himself. What think you on it?
It shall do well. But yet I do believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. How now, Ophelia? You need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed, so please you, in the ear of all their conference. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall think.
It shall be so. Madness in great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hands thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and, as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a sort of temperance that may give it smoothness. Ugh! It offends me to the soul to hear a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears. Pray you, avoid it.
I warrant your honor.
Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature. Go, make you ready. How now, my lord, will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen too, and that presently.
Bid the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten them?
We will.
We will, my lord.
What ho, Horatio.
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou art even as just a man as e'er my conversation called withal.
Oh, my dear lord.
Nay, do not think I flatter. For what advancement may I hope from thee, that no revenue hast but thy good spirits to feed and clothe thee? Dost thou hear? Since my soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. Something too much of this. There is a play tonight before the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told thee of my father's death. I prithee, when thou seest that act afoot, even with the very comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt do not itself unkennel in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen, and my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stithy. Give him heedful note, for I mine eyes will rivet to his face, and after we will both our judgments join in censure of his seeming.
Well, my lord, if steal aught the whilst this play is playing and scape detecting, I will pay the...
They're coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a place.
How fares our cousin Hamlet?
Oh, excellent in faith of the chameleon's dish. I eat the air, promise crammed. You cannot feed capons so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
No, nor mine now. My lord Polonius, you played once in the university, you say?
That did I, my lord, and was accounted a good actor.
What did you enact?
I did enact Julius Caesar. I was killed at the Capitol. Brutus killed me.
It was a brute part of him to kill so capital a calf there. Be the players ready?
Aye, my lord. They stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, good mother. Here's metal more attractive.
Oh, do you mark that?
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean, my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Do you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
Oh, that's a fair thought to lie between maids' legs.
What is, my lord?
Nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
I, my lord.
Oh, God. You're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look you how cheerfully my mother looks, and my father died within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long? Nay, then, let the devil wear black, for I'll have a suit of sables. Oh, heavens! 2 months ago, and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year.
For us, and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this a prologue, or the posy of a ring?
Great, my lord.
As woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round Neptune's salt wash and Telus's orbed ground. And 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12 30s been, since our hearts and Hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred bands.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count, or ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly, too. My operant powers their functions leave to do, and thou shalt live in this fair world behind. For honored, beloved, and haply one is kind, for husband shalt thou—
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first. The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of loaf. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what you now spake, but what we do determine oft we break. This world is not for aye, nor 'tis not strange that even our loves should with our fortunes change. For 'tis a question left us yet to prove, whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. Our wills and fates do so contrary run, that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth give me food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose lock me from day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well, and it destroy. both here and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once a widow, ever be I wife.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while, my spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how do you like this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are as good as a chorus, my lord.
Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seen. Thou mixture, rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's ban thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property, unwholesome life, usurp immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. You will see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzago's wife.
The king rises.
What frightened with false fire?
There's my lord.
Lights, get on the play.
Ho, Guildenstern, where are the lights?
What are the players?
Rosencrantz, they've gone too far.
I do not know. Did you see anything in
Give
the
me
screen
some light! Away!
Lights!
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 Hamlet, give the king some air.
What has he done?
Why are Rosencrantz?
Good Horatio. I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. Didst perceive?
Oh, very well, my lord.
On the talk of the poisoning.
I did very well note him.
Come, some music! Come, the recorders, come, some music!
Good, my lord. Vouchsafe me a word with you. The king, sir.
Aye, sir, what of him?
In his retirement marvelous distempered.
With drink, sir?
No, my lord, rather with choler.
Oh, your wisdom should show itself. More Richard should signify this to his doctor. For me to put him to his purgation would perhaps more choler.
Good, my lord. Put your discourse into some frame, and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir. Pronounce.
The queen, your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, hath sent me to you.
Oh, you are welcome.
Nay, good my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it shall please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return shall be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot.
What, my lord?
Make you a wholesome answer. My wit's diseased. But sir, such answer as I can make, you shall command, or rather, as you say, my mother. Therefore, no more, but to the matter. My mother, you say?
Then thus she says, your behavior hath struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother. But is there no sequel at the heel of this mother's admiration? Impart.
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
Oh, we shall obey, were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
So I do still, by these pickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what is the cause of your distemper? You do surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack advancement.
How can that be, when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
Aye, but sir, while the grass grows, the proverb is something must. Oh, the recorders, let me see one. Why do you go about to recover wind of me, as if you would drive me into a toil?
My lord, if my duty be too bold, my love is too unmannerly.
I do not well understand that. Will you play upon this pipe?
My lord, I cannot.
Oh, I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my lord.
Well, 'tis as easy as lying. Govern these vintages with your fingers and thumb, give it breath with your mouth, and it will discourse most eloquent music. Look, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you now. How unworthy a thing you make of me. You would play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. You would sound me from my lowest note to the top of my compass. And there is much music, excellent voice in this little organ. Yet cannot you make it speak? Splut. Do you think I am easier to be played on than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will, though you can fret me, yet you cannot play upon me. Oh, God bless you, sir.
My lord, the queen would speak with you, and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's in the shape of a camel?
By the mass, and 'tis like a camel indeed.
Oh, methinks it is like a weasel.
It is backed like a weasel.
Or like a whale?
Very like a whale.
Then I will come to my mother by and by.
I will say so.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. 'Tis now the very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion to this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft. Now to my mother. Let me be cruel, not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. My tongue and soul in this be hypocrites. How in my words soever she be shent, to give them seals never, my soul consent.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness range. Therefore prepare you. I your commission will forthwith dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. The terms of our estate may not endure hazard so dangerous as doth hourly grow out of his lunacies.
We ourselves will provide. Most holy and religious spirit is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
Arm you, I pray you, to this speedy voyage, for we will fetters put upon this fear, which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
We will.
My lord, he is going to his mother's closet. No, behind the arras I'll convey myself, to hear the process and warrant she'll tax him home. Fare you well, my liege. I'll call upon you ere you go to bed, and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. Oh, my offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal elder's curse upon it, a brother's murder. Pray I cannot, though inclination be as sharp as will. My stronger guilt defeats my strong intent. And unlike a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in a prayer but this twofold force to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardon being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past. But oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn. Forgive me my foul murder. That cannot be. Since I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, mine own ambition. And my queen, may one be pardoned and retain the offense? There's no shuffling. There the action lies in this true nature. And we ourselves compelled even to the teeth and forehead of our faults to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? Yet what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state! Oh, bosom black as death! Oh, lying soul that struggling to be free art more engaged! Oh, angels! Make a say! Bow stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now might I do it, but now he is a-praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that, I, his sole son, do this same villain send to heaven. Oh, this is hire and salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly, full of bread, with all his crimes broad blown as flush as May. And how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? And am I then revenged? To take him in the purging of his soul when he is fit and seasoned for his passage? No! Up, sword! And know thou a more horrid hint. When he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or in the incestuous pleasure of his bed, at gaming, swearing, or about some act that has no relish of salvation in it, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and that his soul may be as damned and black as hell, where to it goes. My mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up. My thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look, you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and that your grace hath screened and stood between much heat in him. I'll sconce myself here. Pray you, be round with him.
Mother! Mother! Mother!
I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming.
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, By the rood, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Nay then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come and sit you down. You shall not budge. You go not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help, ho!
What? Ho! Help! Help! Help!
How now? A rat? Dead! Dead for a ducat! Dead!
Oh, I am slain!
Oh me, what hast thou done?
Oh nay, I know not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed this
A
is.
bloody deed. Almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
As kill a king?
Aye, lady, 'twas my words. Thou rash, wretched, intruding fool. Farewell. I took thee for thy better. Take thy fortune. Thou findest to be too busy is some danger. Leave wringing of your hands. Peace, sit you down, and let me wring your heart. For so I shall, if it be made of penetrable stuff, if damned custom have not brassed it so that it is a proof and bulwark against sense.
What have I done that thou darest wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose from the fair forehead of an innocent love and sets a blister there, makes marriage vows as false as dicers' oaths.
I mean, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here upon this picture, and on this. The counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See, what a grace was seated on this brow. Hyperion's curls, the front of Jove himself. An eye like Mars to threaten and command, a combination in form indeed, where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look you now what follows. Here is your husband, like a mildewed ear blasting his wholesome brother. Have you eyes? Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed and batten on this moor? Ah! Have you eyes? You cannot call it love. For at your age, the heyday in the blood is tame, it's humble, and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? What devil was it that had thus cozened you at Hoodman blind? Eyes without feeling, feeling without sight, ears without hands or eyes, smelling sans all, or but a sickly part of one true sense could not so mope. Oh, shame! Where is thy blush?
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turn'st mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tint.
Nay, but to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, stewed in corruption, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more. These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain. A slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord. A vice of kings, a cut purse of the empire and the rule, that from a shelf the precious diadem stole and put it in his pocket.
No more.
A king of shreds and patches. Oh, save me and hover o'er me with your wings, you heavenly guards. What would your gracious figure?
Alas, he's mad.
Do you not come, your tardy son to chide, that lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say!
Do not forget this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. Oh, step between her and her frightened soul. Conceit in weakest bodies strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
How is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is't with you, that you do bend your eye on vacancy, and with the incorporeal air do hold discourse? Whereon do you look?
On him. On him! Look how pale he glares! Oh, do not look upon me!
To whom do you speak this?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all. Yet all that is I see.
Nor did you nothing hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
What? Look you there! Look! Look how it steals away! My father in his habit as he lived, look where he goes, even now, out of the portal!
This is the very coinage of your brain, this bodiless creation. Ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy! My pulse as yours doth temperately keep time, and makes as healthful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction to your soul, that not your trespass, but my madness speaks. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what's past, avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
O Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Throw away the worser part of it and live the purer with the other half. Good night. But go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Refrain tonight, and that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next abstinence, the next more easy. For use can almost change the stamp of nature and either master the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more, good night. And when you are desirous to be blessed, I'll blessing beg of you. For this same Lord, I do repent. But heaven hath pleased it so to punish me with this and this with me, that I must be their scourge and minister. I will bestow him, and will answer well the death I gave him. So again, good night. I must be cruel only to be kind. Thus bad begins and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this, by no means, that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you again to bed. Pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse. And let him for a pair of reechy kisses, or paddling in your neck with his damned fingers, make you to ravel all this matter out. That I, essentially, am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
I must to England. You know that?
Alack, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There's letters sealed. and my 2 schoolfellows, whom I trust as I will adders fanged, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. I'll lug the guts into the neighbor room. Mother, good night. Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most secret, and most grave, who was in life a foolish prating knave. Come, sir, to draw toward an end with you. Good night, mother.
There's matter in these sighs, these profound heaves you must translate. 'Tis fit we understand them. Where is your son?
Bestow this place on us a little while. Oh, my good Lord, what I have seen tonight.
Gertrude, how does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind, when both contend which is the mightier. In his lawless fit behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, a rat, and in this brainish apprehension, kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It had been so with us, had we been there. His liberty is full of threats to all, to yourself, to us, to everyone. Alas, how shall this bloody deed be answered? It will be laid to us, whose providence should have kept short, restrained, and out of haunt this mad young man. But so much was our love, we would not understand what was most fit. Where's he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metals base, shows itself pure. He weeps for what it's done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence. And this vile deed we must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. Now, Guildenstern! Friends, both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you, haste in this. Come, Gertrude, we'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Come away. My soul is so full of discord and dismay.
Safely stowed.
Hamlet!
Lord Hamlet!
Oh, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh, here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, whereto 'tis kin.
Tell us where 'tis, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I may keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge?
Take you me for a sponge, my lord?
Aye, sir, that soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. But such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed to be last swallowed. When he needs what you have gleaned, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again.
My lord, you must tell us where the body is and go with us to the king.
The body is with the king, but the king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord.
Of nothing. Bring me to him.
I have sent to seek him and to find the body. How dangerous is it that this man goes loose? Yet, must not we put the strong law on him? He's loved by the distracted multitude, who like not in their judgment but their eyes. And where 'tis so, the offender's scourge is weighed, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. How now? What hath befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, my lord, guarded to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Ho, Guildenstern! Bring in my lord.
Now, Hamlet. Where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper? Where?
Well, not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are eaten at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures else to fat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar is but variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table. That's the end.
Alas, alas.
A man may fish with the worm that hath eat of a king, and eat of the fish that hath fed of that worm.
What dost thou mean by this?
Oh, nothing, but to show you how a king may go a progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven! Send hither to see. If your messenger find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But indeed, if you find him not within this month, you shall nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go, seek him there.
Oh, he will stay till you come.
Hamlet, this deed for thine especial safety, which we do tender as we dearly grieve for that which thou hast done, must send thee hence with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare thyself. The bark is ready, and the wind at help. The associates tend, and everything is bent for England.
For England?
Aye, Hamlet.
Oh, good.
So it is that thou know'st my purpose.
Come for England. Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh. And so, my mother, come for England.
Go, captain. From me, greet the Danish king. Tell him that, by his license, Fortinbras craves the conveyance of a promised march over his kingdom. You know the rendezvous. If that his majesty would aught with us, we shall express our duty in his eye, and let him know so.
I will do it, my lord.
Go softly on.
Good sir, whose powers are these?
They are of Norway, sir.
Oh, how purposed, sir, I pray you?
Against some part of Poland.
Who commands them, sir?
The nephew to old Norway, Fortinbras.
Goes it against the main of Poland, sir, or for some frontier?
Truly to speak, and with no addition, we go to gain a little patch of ground that hath in it no profit but the name. To pay 5 ducats, 5, I would not farm it. Nor will it yield to Norway or the Pole a ranker rate, should it be sold in fee.
Why, then the Polak never will defend it.
Yes, it is already garrisoned.
I humbly thank you, sir.
God be with you, sir.
Will't please you go, my lord?
I'll be with you straight. Go a little before. How all occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man? if his chief good and market of his time be but to sleep and feed. A beast, no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse, looking before and after, gave us not that capability and godlike reason to fust in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the event, a thought which quartered hath but 1 part wisdom and ever 3 parts coward. I do not know why yet I live to say this thing's to do, sith I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. Witness this army of such mass and charge, exposing what is mortal and unsure to all that fortune, death, and danger dare, even for an eggshell. Rightly to be great is not to stir without great argument, but greatly to find quarrel in a straw when honor's at the stake. How stand I then, that hath a father killed, a mother stained, excitements of my reason and my blood, and let all sleep, while to my shame I see the imminent death of 20,000 men, that for a fantasy and trick of fame go to their graves like beds. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth.
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate, indeed distract. Her mood will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears there's tricks in the world that hems and beats her heart, spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is nothing, yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. 'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds.
Let her come in. To my sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss. So full of artless jealousy as guilt, it spills itself in fearing to be spilt.
Where is the beauteous majesty of Denmark?
How now, Ophelia?
How should I your true love know from another one? By his cocklehead and staff, and his sandal shoon.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Nay, pray you mark. He is dead and gone, lady, he is dead and gone. At his heels head a grass-green turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia.
Pray you mark. White his shroud as the mountain snow, larded with sweet flowers, which bewept the grey did go with true love showers.
How do you, pretty lady?
Oh, God ild you! They say the owl was a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Pray you, let us have no more words of this. But when they ask you what this means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all the morning betimes, and I made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and donned his clothes and dubbed the chamber door. Let in a maid, that out a maid, never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed. Law without an oath, I'll make it into it. By Jess and by sweet charity, alack and fie for shame. Young men, if they come to it, by cock they are to blame. Who's she? Before you tumbled me, you promised me to wed. Promised me to wed. So would I done by yonder sun, and how that's not come to my bed.
How long has she been this way?
I hope all will be well. We must be patient. But I cannot choose but weep to think they should lay him in the cold ground. My brother shall know of it. And so I thank you for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night, good night.
Follow her. Give her good watch. I pray you. Oh, this is the poison of deep grief. It springs all from her father's death. Oh, Gertrude, Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions. First her father slain, next your son gone, and he most violent author of his own just remove. People muddied, thick and unwholesome in their thoughts and whispers for good Polonius' death. And we have done but greenly and hugger-mugger to inter him. Poor Ophelia, divided from herself, and a fair judgment without which we are pictures or mere beasts.
Alack, what noise is this?
Save yourself, my lord. Young Laertes in a riotous head forbears your officers. The rabble call him lord. Choose we, Laertes shall be king. Caps, hands, and tongues applaud it to the clouds. Laertes shall be king. Laertes king.
How cheerfully on the false trail they cry, oh, this is counting false dog!
Doors are broke.
Where is this king? O thou vile king, give me my father.
Calmly, good Laertes.
That drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard, cries cuckold to my father, brands the harlot even here between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, that thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Tell me, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience and grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence, let come what comes. Only I will be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Good Laertes, you desire to know the certainty of your dear father's death. Is't writ in your revenge that swoop stake you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends, thus wide I'll ope my arms, and like the kind life-rendering pelican repass them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman.
Now, what noise is that?
Oh,
Oh, he dry up my brains. Oh, Rose of May. Dear May, kind sister. Sweet Ophelia. Oh, heavens. Is it possible a young maid's wit should be as mortal as an old man's life?
Bore him barefaced on the briar, hey, nonny, nonny, hey, nonny, nonny, and his grave rained many a tear. Farewell, you, my dove.
Oh, hast thou thy wits, and didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
Bring it down, and call him a down. Oh, how the will becomes it was the false steward that stole the master's daughter.
Just nothing is more than that.
There's rosemary, that's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. And there's pansies, that's for thought. And
A documented madness, thoughts and
there's
remembrance.
fennel, that for you. And columbines, there's rue for you. And here's some for me. We may call it herbs grace to Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. And there's a daisy. I would give you violets. but they withered. They withered all when my father died. They say he made a good end. For bonny sweet Robin is all my joy.
Hell itself, she turns to favor and to prettiness.
And he will not come again. No, he is dead. Go to thy deathbed, he will never come again. His beard was white as snow, all flaxen was his bow. He is gone, And we cast away Mom. God have mercy on his soul. And of all Christian souls, I pray God be with you.
Do you see this? Oh, God.
Laertes, you must commune with your grief, or you deny me right. But go apart, make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or by collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, a crown, a life, and all that we can ours, to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend your patience to us, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy, sword, nor hatchment o'er his bones, no noble right, nor formal ostentation cry to be heard as 'twere from heaven to earth, that I must call it in question.
So you shall. And where the offense is let, the great axe fall. I pray you, go with me.
I do not know from what part of the world I should be greeted, if not from Lord Hamlet.
Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple, I boarded them. On the instant, they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much speed as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ears that will make thee dumb. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. He that thou knowest thine, Hamlet.
Now must your conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend, sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, that he which hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
Well appears. How now, what news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This to your majesty.
From Hamlet. Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty. You shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. What should this mean?
Know you the hand?
Yeah, 'tis Hamlet's character. Naked. And a proscript here. He says, alone. Can you advise me?
I'm lost in it, my lord. Let him come.
If it be so, Laertes, will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord. So you will not o'errule me to a peace.
If he be now returned, I'll work him to an exploit now ripe in my device, under the which he shall not choose but fall. And for his death no wind of blame shall breathe, but even his mother shall uncharge the practice, and call it accident.
My lord, I will be ruled. Rather, if you could devise it so that I might be the ordinance.
Laertes, was your father dear to you? Or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
I ask you this.
Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son in deed more than in words?
His throat in the church.
Good Laertes. Will you do this? Keep close within your chamber. Hamlet returned shall know you are come home. Will put on those shall praise your excellence and set a double varnish to your fame. Bring you in fine together and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease or with a little shuffling you may choose a sword unbaited, and in a passive practice requite him for your father.
I'll do it. For that purpose I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood, no cataplasm so rare, collected from all simples that have virtue under the moon, can save the thing from death that is but was scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Yeah, let's further think of this. Weigh what convenience both time and means may fit us in our shape. If this should fail, and that our drift look through our bad performance, 'twere better not essayed. Therefore this project should have a back or second that might hold, if this should blast in proof. When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bouts more violent to that end, and he calls for drink, I'll have prepared him a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if he by chance escape, your venom stuck our purpose may hold there. How now, sweet queen?
One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Where?
There is a willow grows aslant a brook that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she come of crow flowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples. There on the pendant boughs her coronet weeds, clamoring to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old tunes as one incapable of her own distress, or like a creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be, till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas, then she's drowned.
Drowned! Drowned!
Much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia. Therefore I forbid my tears. But yet it is our trick. Nature her custom holds. Let shame say what it will. When these are gone, the woman will be out. Adieu, my lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Let's follow Gertrude. How much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will give it start again. Therefore, let's follow.
In youth, when I did love, methought it was very sweet to contract. Oh, the time for army behove. Oh, methought there was nothing meet.
Has this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave-making?
Custom hath made it in him a property of easiness.
But
It might be the pate of a politician which this ass now o'erreaches, might it not?
It might, my lord.
a pickaxe and a spade, and for a shrouding sheet, oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
There's another. Why, may not that be the skull of a lawyer? I will speak to this fellow. Whose grave's this, sirrah?
Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet.
I think it be thine indeed, for thou liest in it.
You lie out in it, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
Thou dost lie in it, to be in it and say it is thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick, therefore thou liest.
'Tis a quick lie, sir. 'Twill away gain from me to you.
What man dost thou dig it for?
No man, sir.
What woman, then?
None, neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir, but rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute the knave is. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in a year, I came to that day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras.
How long is that since?
Can you not tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day young Hamlet was born, he that is mad and sent to England.
Aye, Mary, why was he sent into England?
Why? Because he was mad. He shall recover his wits there, or if he do not, it is no great matter there.
Why?
'Twill not be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
How strangely?
Faith, even losing his wits.
Upon what ground?
Why, here in Denmark.
How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot?
If he be not rotten before he die, as we have many pocky corpses nowadays that will scarce hold the lion in, he will last you some 8 or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Why, sir, his hide is so tanned by his trade, he will keep out water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your wholesome dead body. Here's a skull now. This skull has lain in the earth 23 years.
Whose was it?
A wholesome mad fellow it was. Who do you think it was?
Oh, nay, I know not.
A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. Poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. 'Tis the same skull, sir, was Yorick's skull, the king's jester.
This?
In that.
Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now, how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning? Quite chapfallen? Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing.
What's that, my lord?
Dost thou think Alexander looked of this fashion in the earth?
Even so.
And smelt so?
Even so, my lord.
To what base uses we may return, Horatio? Why may not the imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole?
'Twere to consider too curiously, to consider so.
No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him hither with modesty enough and likelihood to lead it, as thus. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returned into the dust. The dust is earth. Of earth we make loam, and why, of that loam whereto he was converted, might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that that earth which kept the world in awe should patch a wall to expel the winter flaw. But soft, aside, here comes the king. The queen? The courtiers? Who is this they follow? Couch we a while and mark.
Lay her i' the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. A ministering angel shall my sister be.
What? The fair Ophelia?
Sweets to the sweet. Farewell. I hoped thou should have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Treble woe fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while till I have caught her once more in my arms. Now pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made to o'ertop old Pelion, or the skyish head of blue Olympus.
What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet the Dane!
The devil take thy soul!
Put them asunder!
Hamlet!
Gentlemen!
Why, my lord, be quiet!
Why, I will fight him upon this theme until my eyelids will no longer wag!
My son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia! 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quality of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her?
He's mad, Laertes.
For the love of God, forbear him.
Swoots, show me what thou do. Would weep, would fight, would fast, eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine, to outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried with her, and so will I. Nay, and thou, old mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him.
Hear you, sir. I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, the dog will have his day.
I pray you, good Horatio, wait upon him. strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceeding be.
So much for this, sir. Now shall you see the other. You do remember all the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord.
Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting that would not let me sleep. Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me, in the dark, groped I to find out them. Had my desire, fingered their pocket, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, to unseal their grand commission, where I found, Horatio, royal knavery, an exact command that on the supervised, no leisure bated, no, not to stay the grinding of the axe, my head should be struck off.
Oh, it's possible?
Here's the commission. Read it at more leisure. But wilt thou hear me how I did proceed?
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, ere I could make a prologue to my brains, they had begun the play. I sat me down, devised a new commission, wrote it fair. Wilt thou know the effect of what I wrote?
I, good lord.
An earnest conjuration from the king, that on the view and knowing of these contents, without debatement further, more or less, he should the bearers put to sudden death, not shriving time allowed.
How was this sealed?
Why, even that was heaven ordained. I had my father's signet in my purse, which was the model of that Danish seal. Folded the writ up in form of the other, subscribed it, gave it the impression, placed it safely, the changeling never known. Now, the next day was our sea flight, and what to this was sequent, thou knowest already.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
Ha! Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat does by their own insinuation grow.
What a king this.
Does it not, think'st thee, stand me now upon, he that hath killed my king and whored my mother, popped in between the election and my hopes, thrown out his angle for my proper life, and with such cozenage, is it not perfect conscience to quit him with this arm? And is it not to be damned to let this canker of our nature come in further evil?
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of his business there.
It will be short. The interim is mine. And a man's life's no more than to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot myself. For by the image of my cause, I see the portraiture of his. I'll court his favors. But sure, the bravery of his grief did put me into a towering passion.
Peace, who comes here?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir.
My sweet lord, if your lordship were... Sweet lord. Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
Oh, I will receive it with all diligence of spirit. Put your bonnet to its right use. 'Tis for the head.
I thank your lordship, it is very hot.
Oh, no, believe me, 'tis very cold. The wind is northerly.
It is indifferent cold, my lord, indeed.
But yet methinks it is very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly, my lord, it is very sultry, as it were, I cannot tell how. But my lord, his majesty bade me signify to you that he has laid a great wager on your head, sir. This is the matter.
I beseech you, remember.
Nay, my good lord, for my own ease in good faith. Sir, here is newly come to court Laertes. Believe me, an absolute gentleman, full of most excellent differences, a very soft society and great showing. Indeed, to speak feelingly of him, he is the card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him the continent of what part a gentleman would see.
Sir, his definement suffers no perdition in you. Though I know to divide him inventorially would dizzy the arithmetic of memory, and yet but yawn neither in respect of his quick sale. But in the verity of extolment, I take him to be a soul of great article, and his infusion of such dearth and rareness as to make true diction of him. His semblance is his mirror, and who else would trace him his umbrage? Nothing more.
Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
The concernancy, sir? Why do we wrap the gentleman in our more rawer breath?
Sir?
It's not possible to understand in another tongue. You will do it, sir, really.
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes?
His purse is empty already. All's golden words are spent.
Of him, sir!
I know you are not ignorant.
Oh, I would you did, sir. Yet, in faith, if you did, it would not much approve me. Well, sir?
You are not ignorant of what Excellence Laertes is.
I dare not confess that, lest I should compare with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself.
I mean, sir, for his weapon, but in the imputation laid on him by them, in his meed, he's unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
Rapier and dagger.
Oh, that's two of his weapons. But, well.
The king, sir, hath wagered with him that in a dozen passes between yourself and him, he shall not exceed you 3 hits. He hath laid on 12 for 9, and it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe the answer.
How if I answer no?
I mean, my lord, by the opposition of your person in trial.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. If it please his majesty, 'tis the breathing time of day with me. Let the foils be brought. The gentleman willing, and the king hold his purpose. I will win for him if I can. If not, I will gain nothing but my shame and the odd hits.
Shall I redeliver you e'en so?
Oh, to this effect, sir. After what flourish your nature will.
I commend my duty to your lordship.
Yours.
Oh.
Yours.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
Oh, I do not think so.
Nay, good my lord. I will forestall their repair and say you are not fit.
Not a whit. We defy augury. There's a special providence in the fall of a sparrow. If it be now, 'tis not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now. If it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man has aught of what he leaves, what is it to leave betimes?
Come, Hamlet, come, and take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I've done you wrong. but pardon it as you are a gentleman. This presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with sore distraction. What I have done that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement, till by some elder masters of known honor I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. Till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils. Come on.
Come one for me.
I'll be your foil, Laertes. In mine ignorance, your skill shall, like a star in the darkest night, stick fiery off indeed.
Mock me, sir?
No, by this hand.
Give them the foils, young Ostrich. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager?
Very well, my lord. Your grace hath laid the odds on the weaker side.
I do not fear it. I have seen you both, but since he's bettered, we have therefore odds.
This is too heavy. Let me see another.
This likes me well. These foils have all a length?
Aye, my good lord.
Set me the stoops of wine upon the table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ordnance fire. The king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath, and in the cup and union shall he throw richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Give me the cups.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
One!
No!
Judgment?
A hit, a very palpable hit.
Again.
Stay. Give me the drink. Hamlet, this pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this bout first. Set it by a while. Another hit! What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our son shall win.
He's fat and scant of breath. Here, Hamlet, take my napkin, rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet.
Gertrude, do not drink.
I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
Come, for the third, Laertes, you but dally. I pray you pass with your best violence. I am afeard you make a wanton.
You so? Come on.
Nothing, neither way.
Help you now!
Nay, come again!
Barton, they are incensed!
Look to the queen there, ho!
But I bleed on both sides.
Oh.
How is it, my lord?
How is it, Laertes?
I, as a woodcock to mine own springe, Osric, I'm justly killed with mine own treachery.
How does the queen?
She swoons to see them bleed.
No, no, the drink, oh my dear Hamlet, the drink, I am poisoned.
Oh, villainy, halt! Oh, God. Let the door be locked. Treachery, seek it out.
Dear Hamlet, Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In the air is not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument was in my hand. It unbaited and envenomed. How practice hath turned itself on me. Oh, here I lie, never to rise again. My mother's poison. I can no more. The king's to blame.
What? Envenomed too? Envenomed to thy work?
Treason! Treason!
Defend me! Friends!
Yes.
I am but hurt!
Thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane, follow my mother!
He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me, noble Hamlet. Thy father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. Oh, I follow thee. Horatio, I am dead.
Never believe it.
Oh, good Horatio. What a wounded, maimed thing standing thus unknown shall live behind me. Ah! If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. Ah! What warlike noise is this?
Young Fortinbras, with conquest come from Poland, to the ambassadors of England gives this warlike volley.
Oh! I die, Horatio. The potent poison quite o'ergrows my spirit. Oh, I cannot live to hear the news from England. But I do prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice. The rest is silence.
Thou crackest a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince. And flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search.
Quarry cries on havoc. O proud death, what feast is toward in thine eternal cell that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck?
Sight is dismal, and our affairs from England come too late. The ears are senseless that should give us hearing to tell him his commandment is fulfilled, that Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Where should we have our thanks?
Not from his mouth. Had it the ability of life to thank you. He never gave commandment for their death. Give order that these bodies high on a stage be placed to the view, and let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about.
Let us haste to hear it. Call the noblest to the audience. For me, with sorrow, I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my vantage doth invite me.
Of that I shall have also cause to speak, and from his mouth whose voice will draw on more. But let this same be presently performed, even while men's minds are wild, lest more mischance on plots and errors happen.
Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, or he was likely, had he been put on, to approve most royally. And for his passage, the soldiers' music and the rites of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go, bid the soldiers shoot.